Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shop Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Sunday, November 17th, 2024. Make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, the games I love the most on the card in college basketball and other sports, you can find those at the Premium Picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. I usually have my Bank Shop best bet each day in college basketball. We cashed another one of those on Saturday afternoon with Abilene Christian. So check it out at Pick Dawgz Premium under my capper page. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Sunday. Looking for a bounce back after a tough Saturday showing. So far this season, we've had 13 videos. 10 of those have been winning videos, winning days, and then 3 of them losing. So still off to a great start this year. Here are the games for Sunday. First up, we see a great game. We got New Mexico and St. John's, 12 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1. Two good teams, but also two of the fastest teams in college basketball. Right now, New Mexico and St. John's are number 2 and number 1 in average possession length offensively. So you could say the two fastest teams in college basketball right now. And we see a steep total because of it in the 160s right now. I still think there's value on the over. I like the over in this one. I love both of these offenses, and I do think both of these defenses are solid as well. But when you look at New Mexico, they're scoring a ton of points per game. They had 91 against Nichols, 100 against Corpus Christi, even against a very good UCLA defense, still scored 72 points. But the problem in New Mexico is they've been a little bit too volatile this year. They've turned the ball over quite a bit, struggling on the defensive glass, so they're giving up second chance looks. They're giving up fast break points, and I think St. John's will be able to take advantage of that all game long. On the flip side, St. John's, yes, their defense has been outstanding to start the year, but look at who they played: Fordham, Quinnipiac, and Wagner. They gave up 45 points to Wagner, which at the time looked like an amazing defensive showing. It still was, but then we just saw Wagner score 28 points on Saturday against Seton Hall. So for me, I think both of these defenses are a little bit of trouble in this one. This should be a back and forth game. Give me the over. Next up, St. Mary's and Nebraska. This one, 1 p.m. Eastern, a neutral site game. It's going to be on the Big Ten Network. St. Mary's is the slight favorite in this game. And for me, I just think it's going to be a really close one that Nebraska has a very good shot at winning outright. And I know St. Mary's has been the better program when you look at season for season between these two teams in the last 10-plus years. But this year's St. Mary's team, just a little bit different in my opinion. I don't love the fact that their defense is not off to as good a start as we're used to seeing. Ranked 75th right now in adjusted defensive efficiency. They're usually top 15, top 20 by the end of the year. Certainly plenty of time to improve those numbers, but they're not really forcing a lot of turnovers. Their three-point defense has struggled so far, ranked 333rd in the country. And at a neutral site where St. Mary's has just not played well in these situations in recent years. I mean, you go back to last year, obviously the one and done in the NCAA tournament as the 5 seed, losing to 12 seed Grand Canyon. But beyond that, in non-conference play, in their step-up games and these neutral site matchups and in non-conference play, against San Diego State, a 25-point loss. Against Xavier, a 17-point loss. They lost other non-conference games to Utah and Boise State. I think Nebraska's really improved. I like the fact they're a little bit more experienced. I think Nebraska's the better defensive team right now, which is kind of crazy to think, but give me Nebraska in this one plus the points. Next up, we see Troy and Oregon. This one, 5 p.m. Eastern on Big Ten Plus. We took Troy plus the points against Arkansas on Wednesday and did not cover in that game. It was a 16-point win for Arkansas. I think we were getting a 13.5, 12.5, 13 points with the Trojans. But for me, I watched that game, and when you look at the numbers and you say, Troy only failed to cover the spread by just one three-point bucket, despite shooting 16% from the three-point line, 57% from the free throw line. They had 24 turnovers, and Arkansas made 10 threes on 35 attempts for about 44%. You would think, based on those numbers alone, that Troy lost that game by 25, 30 points. But it was actually, Troy was competitive on the offensive glass. They scored a lot of points in the paint. And if they were able to clean up some of those turnovers and get a little bit luckier in terms of Arkansas missing some of their low percentage, Hail Mary three-point shots, it would have been a real ball game, and Troy, I think, would have had a chance to win it outright. I still think Troy's a very solid team in terms of one of the best defensive teams in mid-major college basketball, and really one of the better defensive teams in general. They're right now 60th in adjusted defensive efficiency. They're battle-tested. They've already played that one game in Arkansas. They played Toledo at the beginning of the season. That win is looking better and better as Toledo has bounced back. And Oregon's coming off an overtime game against Portland where they barely got by the Pilots, and not a very good Portland team, by the way. And the big issue for Troy this year has been the turnovers. Oregon's defense has not been too aggressive. They're not really forcing too many of them. So I think Troy cleans it up, and I think they cover the number on the road. Next up, it's Utah and Mississippi State. This one 4 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. This is a semi-home game for Mississippi State at the Landers Center. And, both these teams have played very weak strength of schedules, so you can't really put too much into the raw numbers for both of these teams, as they're ranked 359th and 343rd in strength of schedule. But, Utah's taken a ton of three-point jumpers this year, the most in the country right now. They're making them at a great rate, about 44%. But you're playing Mississippi State in this game, not Queens, Central Arkansas, or Alcorn. All those teams have been miserable against a three this year, while Mississippi State not only right now is top 100 in three-point defense, but last year was 8th best in the country in defending the three. They were 36th the year before. Chris Jan's teams are notoriously strong defensive teams, so I do think Utah has a little bit of trouble in this one, their first real step-up game. I think you can make the argument the same thing for the Bulldogs offense on the other side, but I just think Mississippi State is the better defensive team. I like the fact that they take care of the basketball and they force a lot of turnovers. They will have to improve on the glass in this game, as their rebounding numbers aren't the best, but I still think Mississippi State is the better team in this one by a pretty good margin. The fact that it's a semi-home game, I think, gives them a little bit more of an advantage. So give me Mississippi State, and this one should be a pretty close game until the end. I think the Bulldogs pull away and cover the number. Next up, Cal Poly in Eastern Washington. This one 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Cal Poly has really improved this year, in my opinion. This is a new-look team, and there was some question marks going into the year. New head coach Mike DeGeorge and a lot of new players from subdivision teams, mostly from Division II. But so far, this offense, while it's ranked 336 in adjusted offensive efficiency, it's fast-paced and it's very volatile. They'll turn the ball over quite a bit. Not a great rebounding team, but they are able to hit, really, anybody on the court is able to hit a three-point jumper, and they're one of the best free throw shooting teams in the country right now. This offense can be a big problem for defenses that aren't so great, and especially against defenses that are struggling against a three-point shot. And that's exactly what you see here at Eastern Washington, ranked third worst in the country in three-point defense, giving up a 49.2% clip to opposing teams from the perimeter. Eastern Washington's been a lot better than expected. They've been great against the spread so far this year, but this is still a very inexperienced team. The offense has been able to hit some low percentage shots to stay competitive in these ball games, but in this one, I think Cal Poly's offense is just way too much. I'm going to go with the Mustangs in this one on the road. And that's it. Those are the games for Sunday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe, and put those college hoops picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Ron Romanelli. Good luck.